everyone, and welcome to Astrology for the week ahead. My name is Emmaleen from Emmalene's Astrology, and I'm here today with Dorothy Taylor from Soul of Chiron. We're going to be talking to you in a kind of a short video today. We're going to try and do it in about 20 minutes, I guess, about the week ahead. So starting today on the 3rd of June and going through to the next 7 days, what we can expect from the heavens above. So we have a chart.
I'll go through the list of the astrological changes. The
Okay.
first one being Mercury going direct today in Taurus. The next is tomorrow, Saturn begins retrograde. The 6th, the Sun sextiles Chiron, and pretty much all week, the Mercury is trine Pluto. And so that takes us through to next Thursday. And then on the 11th, Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So good bit of Taurus activity.
Yeah. One planet's moving direct, and we feel the the relief in that. But then Saturn's turning retrograde tomorrow, so we have that movement of the planets as well.
So this is Mercury stationary, and this is Saturn getting ready to go stationary tomorrow. And I thought about this last night when we brought this up in our group talk. It's like we're now going to be able to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Mercury is a good bit faster than Saturn, covers more ground than Saturn, so it's just going to slow us down a little bit. So one of the things we brought up last night is the fear people have around retrogrades. And a lot of that has been perpetrated by astrologers. So we're going to try to clear some of that up today.
Yeah, I think particularly Mercury retrograde, that's the one that really seems to be in everyone's mind. I don't know, because it happens like 3 times a year, maybe it's more well known in social media and so forth, but people really do seem to get scared of a Mercury retrograde, and for many reasons we don't have to fear Mercury. It's just trying to show us new ways to use our minds and ways to communicate, and try and show us what we need to know, give us some more knowledge. Knowledge is power.
Maybe take a situation we're in and view it from different perspectives. But they're one of the reasons that they say not to make large purchases while Mercury is retrograde is because of that miscommunication, that not seeing everything truly the way it is. So Mercury gives us a chance to take a second look at things, or even a third look at situations or thoughts or ideas or perceptions about things. And so Mercury going retrograde is actually pointing out an area of experience where you need more detail. You need to alter your perspective or get more information. Just doing those sort of things so that you don't move forward without the correct information. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's gone direct today, June 3rd. It would have went retrograde 21 days ago. So really this week, what have you learned? What do you now see a bit differently to maybe a month ago when Mercury was in its shadow last time?
And that's a great question to ask yourself for the next 3 weeks as well, because we're going to be in post shadow. So the entire time that Mercury is retrograde, pre-shadow, retrograde, and post retrograde, you want to ask yourself, what is there, what is here, what do I not know that would be helpful for me to know? What am I assuming? And what would happen if that wasn't my assumption about the situation or circumstances or even information? So it's really a chance to recap, restudy, visualize the information we're getting, to reorient ourselves to information from a different background. That's Mercury, but there are, the other planets go retrograde too, and a lot of the planets are retrograde, 5 months out of the year. And so what happens with the energy of those planets is it's more internalized, and that's what's happening with Mercury. He's internalizing this idea of reviewing what you think, reviewing the assumptions you make, those types of things, and revamping how you see the world, your perspective. Saturn going retrograde tomorrow is another one that a lot of people are concerned with. Anything that Saturn does, they know it's the planet of restrictions, but it's also the planet of foundations, building foundations.
Yeah.
It's limits and boundaries, but those limits and boundaries can represent a strong foundation, or a safe zone, or a way of building upon. So the structure, and the foundation. And so Saturn going retrograde is a chance to make sure that you have the foundation built the way you think would be most amenable to what you want to achieve. Um, Notice where you have placed boundaries or limits on yourself, and something that you feel like you can't do. Why can you not do that? What is that boundary about? Is it a self-imposed boundary, or limit? Are you being too hard on yourself? Look for those ways that you can better understand how the limits and boundaries have come up in your life, and what you can do about them. Maybe you should consider that foundation something that helps you catapult yourself forward, that you're able to use. So grounding is a good example. When we feel grounded as individuals, when we feel grounded, that is a good, stable place to then act out from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Saturn is going to be retrograde. Do we know how long?
The October the 18th. So
There we
as it goes from June 4th to October the 18th. So it does this, Saturn's one of the outer planets. So it spends like half its time forwards, half its time backwards, I think one of the things you can do as well is look in your own birth chart, see where Saturn is. Is it retrograde in your chart? Is it moving forwards in your chart? Because you might feel that your energy coincides with how Saturn is moving in the sky at the moment. So if it's going retrograde and you're natally like a Saturn retrograde baby person, then maybe this is the time when you feel like you're working towards what you need to build. You can feel maybe when you have Saturn direct in your chart and Saturn's moving direct, that's your time to be building. Saturn is scary to a lot of people, but I'm a Saturn girl. I really like Saturn as a planet, because I feel like if you are using it to build, using it to be responsible, look at where you need to do your work, then it's very karmic. You're going to get the rewards from it. So it just really likes you to work where you have to work.
It's known as the taskmaster in astrology. So yes, a lot of work is involved when Saturn's around. But Saturn and Jupiter are considered social planets, and so Jupiter is where we can expand. Saturn, at the time that the ancients were discovering astrology, Saturn was the farthest planet you could see with the naked eye, and so that was the limit, the boundary of space for us. Now that's different. The outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are visible because we have technology that can help us see further, help us expand further than what we had known before. So Saturn right now is in Aquarius, and in Aquarius, most people don't realize that Saturn actually rules Aquarius. It is the ancient ruler of Aquarius. Uranus is the modern ruler, and both of those planets rule Aquarius. Forgetting that Saturn rules Aquarius is a mistake. We should always include readings for both planets when we're talking to an Aquarius ascendant or sun sign. Saturn brings about that stability, that social stability, the etiquette, the social rules and obligations that we have towards each other, where Uranus is the surprising interactions, the innovation. And without Uranus, just outside of Saturn, without Uranus, we wouldn't be able to go past the limits of Saturn. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So Saturn has been involved in these social restrictions. The dynamic that's been going on since both Saturn and Jupiter were in Pluto, we are still under some restrictions in the Aquarius rules humanity, it rules groups, associations. And so Saturn there is telling us that we are still under some sort of limit as far as socializing fully. We're learning new ways to do it though. The internet, Aquarius rules the internet. The internet has given us a platform, a structure, and energy flows towards structure. Always remember that money, resources, everything flows towards structure. Everything wants some place to be used or um, to have a purpose. All energy does as well. And so, Saturn being in Aquarius, there's this opportunity on the internet and other places to actually establish and build a foundation that's strong amongst groups. But it's also about taking responsibility. You know, the restrictions we've been under have been about taking responsibility, not only as individuals but as a group. We're all supposed to wear masks when we go out. Those restrictions have been lifted a little, but they could come back at any time. We all know that. And that's showing a little bit, we need to show respect, use that social structure to make sure that everyone is okay, not just yourself. And so that's that part of taking responsibility.
Yeah.
I left you speechless.
That was really, I was taking that in from that. It's where we are showing responsibility, and it being in Aquarius is that collective responsibility. So that we're going to see that echoes of that. Definitely, that's a good point.
And you know, with Pluto still down there in Capricorn, there is that need for us to, because we're still transforming, things are still changing for us. We need to know what our collective responsibility is. And that goes for, you know, with the war in Ukraine, what is the collective responsibility? And that transcends um, country boundaries, location boundaries, even some political and social groups, right? The citizens of certain countries are banding together in order to take responsibility or to put a limit on something another group is doing, right?
Mhm.
So, but they're also helping to build foundations in a stronger way. Now, how all that'll end up, I'm not giving an opinion on. What I'm saying is that you can witness Saturn in Aquarius at every level possible: spiritual, emotional, physical, and intellectual.
Yeah.
People are stuck in their ideas. People band together in groups based on what their beliefs are, you know. So you get to experience this, and all of this astrology happens in that way. It happens on all four levels. It doesn't happen just on the physical level, or just on the mental level, or just on the emotional level. It happens on all levels. Now, we change when it affects us emotionally. We can intellectually know something, and until we emotionally experience it, we are not going to change. And so that's what this is about, is all of astrology is about, is connecting what you feel in all four areas with who you are. And look at every alignment or planetary action as helping you to reach your goal. Full integration of your power, your intelligence, your higher angels, all of those things. And you'll start viewing a chart more productively. So we haven't done much of the actual reading on the tree,
Well,
but
yeah, no, but it's very interesting, and I think also this, this Saturn in Aquarius period is kind of preparing us for, like you just touched on, like Pluto's coming to the end of Capricorn now. Next year we're going to see Pluto going over, so it's kind of given us a little bit preparation time
yeah,
for
that's
doing
a
the
good
work
point.
to see what's happening, what preparation for the transformation that's coming. So
So, and you know, we do have these restrictions on society, and we are social groups and or the collective, and we are. It's almost as if Saturn is going. There is going to be responsibility required of you when Pluto gets here. Everything is Pluto really wants things to be above board. He wants to bring whatever the dirt is in the bottom up and just kind of purge everything that is not helpful. Saturn is giving us a little taste of what we can. So he's helping us to build that good foundation so that when Pluto comes in, we are able to stand on our own 2 feet. Um, Pluto is a very different kind of energy, and Saturn, you will see this time period as a gift, as the gift it is when Pluto comes in. Pluto is a gift too, though. I like Pluto.
Yeah, Pluto may not feel like a gift at the time, but it's certainly trying to give you one.
You know, Saturn doesn't feel like a gift at the time.
Saturn can be about hard work, but like I said, there can also be, if you've been taking the responsibility, that there is a lot of rewards that come with it.
So with Saturn in Aquarius, you could get the title of leader amongst a group. You know, your title, your official title could change. You could become known as the expert. You could gain a certain amount of authority in your field, whatever that is, or where in the house where it shows up in your chart. And in your natal chart, where Saturn is going to show you where you can build those strong foundations, where you can figure out who you are and really ground yourself, and then work from there out. Saturn
Yeah.
is our maturity planet. It helps us mature.
Oh, that's what they used to say. When we had our first Saturn return years ago, you weren't adults, you weren't fully grown. You weren't wise until you'd had your Saturn return at 20, 28, 29, 30. That time frame. That's when you are suddenly a grown up, not 21. It's when you've had your Saturn return. That's when you know yourself. So that's when you get that wisdom. It's been all the way around your chart. So
not when the government says you're old.
yeah, not when.
And not when the church, because in churches usually say that they consider once you're 13, you're an adult, and responsible for your own actions. So all of that is true, in some sense. Maybe sometime we'll do an actual just talk about Saturn and how
that'd be really great.
for life and the maturity level. So between Mercury, you had a good quote about Mercury going forward, I believe.
Yeah, so we were talking about how people get really scared with Mercury, and they think that, oh my goodness, what is going to cause me havoc, and I don't know what's going to come, and I don't know if I should be acting, or I should just be staying at home and not getting on with my life. Well, actually, no. I was thinking this morning, and the quote I came up with was, sometimes in life, what we hoped for is not what we get, and what we get is better than what we had hoped. So, it might change, but then that change might actually be for the good. So, revising it, changing it is not meant to be scary.
And I think the point is that with Mercury, you just want to be curious. You don't want to decide what it's going to do before it's done it. That's when fear creeps in. Just be curious. What does this Mercury retrograde have to show me, right?
Yes.
So Mercury is in that trine with Pluto, which is retrograde as well. And that trine with Pluto is providing information back and forth. So Pluto is providing us with information about transformations that are happening in the wider world, that probably are going to affect us in some way. So you can look at that as a win for Mercury. Mercury's checking in over there with Pluto and saying, "Hey, what you doing, bud?"
And how is this information going to transform me? Maybe it's bringing about some profound change.
And if your thoughts change, you do change.
Yeah.
From the inside out, right? So you transform. I was just talking with somebody the other day about how They've had this friend for years and years and years, just years and years, both male. And suddenly the person I was talking to was explaining to me how this person was getting on their nerves. They could upset them just like that because they no longer agree politically.
All right.
He was saying that person had changed, and my question was, have they, or did you change? So they're assuming because this person doesn't agree with me, they're the ones that have changed. But the truth is you may have changed. And when you change, there are ways that you need to realign your relationships. For instance, they could just agree to not agree. And
Or maybe you've both changed.
yep, maybe they both changed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that element of looking deep though. Pluto is deep. Looking deep and saying, what is my purpose? And especially in this environment where so much has changed, what is my purpose and what value does that have? Because we're talking about value up there in Gemini, Taurus, and we're talking about purpose with Pluto there in Capricorn. Who does it serve? Who does what I have that's of value serve?
And doing the research, because like we're looking at the Pluto trine Mercury, digging deep, getting the information, that doing your own, don't take maybe on board what other people are saying, do your own research this week.
So remember we said it's emotional, spiritual, intellectual, and physical. So doing the research is that intellectual part.
Yeah.
Allowing yourself to feel this energy and be curious is another. And then the spiritual, when we really gain deep information spiritually, we connect with something. I don't know that we transform our spirit, but our spirit transforms us. Does that make sense? So getting that much deeper, our egos, our world, our intellect changes, our emotions change. So that is, we are probably well past 20 minutes, but we
We're
can't.
doing well. I think we've done a lot of the aspects now.
Yeah.
So we've covered quite a few. We've still got Uranus, the big one at the end of the week.
Venus conjunct Uranus.
Yeah, that's coming up on the 11th. So yeah, Venus is going to meet with Uranus in Taurus. So
And that could be revelations about your relationships, a
yeah,
revelation about something of value that you hold of value, either having more value or less value than you thought. Those emotional connections that it's a good time, Uranus and Venus together, and especially while Mercury is still in there, it's a good time to get in your comfort zone and be just luxuriate yourself, just be pamper yourself, take a hot bath, a hot bubble bath, just give yourself a few luxuries, and a soft cuddly blanket. Definitely make sure you're not hot, because I was hot this morning and it is no fun. Just do things that make you feel good. Take a look at your own self-confidence as well. Take a look at your skills and your talents that you could be utilizing in this dynamic here. Because Uranus is going to reveal, Uranus and Venus are going to reveal something that you were not quite aware of. It's outside your normal experience of that area of your chart. So give it an opportunity to bring you something, some insight, some understanding that is outside your regular sphere. Taurus is not real conducive to Uranian energy. And so these triggers that other planets will have with it as it goes by is going to kind of bring home the point. Venus, on the other hand, is very comfortable in Taurus. And so Venus being in her home sign, coming conjunct with Uranus, who is not so comfortable there. I get love to give these planets personalities. So Venus is gonna, solder up to Uranus and go, "Hey, baby, you're not comfortable here. Let me give you a soft spot to lay. Let me fix your hair, do your nails."
That's good.
Right? So, and Uranus goes,
Maybe, maybe not.
I kind of like this. Okay. So
Yeah,
you may surprise yourself at what you find attractive or who you find
yeah,
attractive
that's
or who
true. Yeah,
finds you attractive.
yeah,
So just kind of go with the flow where Uranus is concerned. The only thing you can say about Uranus is expect the unexpected.
expected.
Um, so,
But that there could be another thing. I think we were saying last night. You might meet someone unexpectedly as well. Venus love, Uranus unexpected findings or happenings. So it could be that you, if you're single and you're looking for someone, that could happen this week. Unexpected money, changes in money. If this Taurus is in maybe your 10th house, 6th house, second house, maybe work, money changing for you personally, but that could come up as well. Because Venus is money and love. I think sometimes people just think, oh, Venus is love. They forget the money part as well,
right. And the self-respect
Yes.
and self-confidence. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
spend some time in nature. Spend some time in with things and around things that are natural. Eat your veggies like your mama told you. Do things that are eat things that are grown in the earth. Of course, you could eat meat too because it is the bull. But eat things that are grown in the earth and spend some time actually out in nature. Take a walk by a bubbling brook. Just notice nature. You'll be surprised at some of the things you notice while Venus and Uranus are in Taurus and what brings you comfort and safety and security. There are plenty of resources, by the way. We all have an abundance of resources. So go and find yours.
Yeah, that's
Okay, you
great.
think that's it?
I think so. I think we've done really, really well here. We've covered it all for the next all the big stuff for the next 7 days. So hopefully that helps you all.
But the sun is in Gemini. We want to make sure we mention the sun in Gemini.
Yes, the sun is still shining in on our minds and our communications, maybe our relationships with our siblings, our neighbors. It's a good time to be sociable, to be chatty. So
Out in your
that's
local environment.
mhm.
Hold on just a second. I do want to look at this Sun sextile Chiron and see what else might be. So here's Mercury going forward. The Sun is here at 15, and it is sextile Chiron here in Aries. So that's a positive alignment. And we were talking last night about Chiron helping us to be able to act on our own will, to be able to use our own desires, our own goals, to move forward. And the sun is going to focus on that day. And we've got Pallas Athena and Uranus conjunct here. And Pallas Athena is another good alignment with Uranus. It's going to show us who we could possibly trust with this Uranian and Venus energy coming through Taurus. So this is a positive alignment. It may feel as if a wound that we have is being pricked at or pointed out, but that'll give us the opportunity to look at it and see what it really needs.
Yeah,
So, all right. So
that's
we
good.
will get to another one of these next week. I hope that was
Yeah.
helpful. And thank you, Emmeline.
Thank you. Let us know in the comments if you do meet someone when on the 11th when Uranus and Venus comes together, or if any other information that we've given you today has been helpful or accurate, or if you just have any questions about the information that we've been speaking about today. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.